So the good news is that the mount came together really well and fits pretty well. It is a little Type 10 laptop, which is actually to our advantage because I think we need to add a third leg to this so it keeps the screen from being so tippy. So I'm going to insert a spacer that goes between the two sides. And that spacer is going to come all the way down and sit on the ground and support this laptop and the screen. So our first step is we need to go and make some space in the assembly. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to delete the left side. And I'm going to delete the right side. And make sure they're all saved. And now we're going to do some changes. The first thing I'm going to do is we're going to take and double click on the screw. Nope. I'm going to return. I'm going to right click on the screw and go to replace from content center. Nope, I lied yet again. I don't do this very often. I'm going to right click and go to change size. Change size is going to let me set the size. So I'm going to set this up to a 14 millimeter bolt. It's going to update, and now I have a longer bolt. We're going to do it to all three of these guys. Nope. Return. Click on this guy. Change size. 14 millimeter. Hit OK. And I'm going to go to this guy. Change size. And again, 14 millimeter. Now, the next thing I need to do is I need to space these screws out a little more because we now have some extra space. So we're going to go click on the bolt and the nut, and we're going to go look. This 0.3 is what we set initially. That's the space between the two sections. So we're going to set this spacing here. Instead of being 0.3 is we're going to set this to be, let's try 0.4 because that should give us just a little more space. And I can actually go 0.45. And we're going to keep track of what we're adding because that addition is going to be what we add on when we move stuff around. So let's go here, do the same thing on this guy. 0.3, 0.45, 0.45. So those are on the space a little better. Now we need to offset the initial mating so that they're set to the right spot. Okay, so we've lost these guys, the constraint there. So because we don't have the parts in place, so what we're going to do is mate these instead of to the part, we're going to mate them to the global origin planes. So I'm going to go here, looking at the global origin, and I'm going to mate this surface here to the center plane, which I believe is going to be the YZ plane, and I'm going to offset it by 0.45/2. 0.45 because that's the gap between the nut and the bolt, and by divide by 2 because I want halfway. And now I can take and do the rest of the work where I set these. I can now constrain this face here flush to the head of this guy. And I can set the head of that bolt, or nut, to the face of this guy. So it gives me my zigzag pattern, which is probably not necessary, but I like how it looks effectively. Now we're going to place our two parts back in place. Now we are going to have some space, a little more space around here because we just gained 0.15 inches the whole way through. But I have some foam that is roughly 0.05. So if I add it to both sides inside the thing to make the screen a little more padded, it's going to take up that space pretty easily. And I can always layer the foam up a little bit if I need to keep it from sliding too much. So we'll add that in our final steps. But what I need to do now is we're going to now save this assembly, and I'm going to place my left and right mount back into place. So I'm going to click, hit yes, hit escape. And now what we're going to do is we're going to constrain these, and I can use the bolts to constrain everything. And everything should still line up because we built things around where those bolts were. So I need this side, which is I'm going to collapse everything. So this purple one is the right. So I'm going to constrain this axis. I'm going to use insert, and I'm going to flip it around so it's going the right way. So I'm going to pick up the hole inside the surface. Cancel. I'm going to pull this so it's through here. So I'm going to constrain, insert. I'm going to grab, we'll start this bottom one, this hole here with the bottom screw head here. Cancel. I have the wrong way. So let's try that again. I'm going to mate this thing to the bolt. That spot right there. Let's try again. Constrain. Make sure I'm in insert mode. And again, this can take a few steps to get right. So that surface mounted directly to this surface right here. Apply. And that looks right. Now, if I just do a second axis, did I put it on the wrong one? Yes, I did. Cancel. So I'm going to delete this insert. And constrain. Let's try one more time. This surface here and this surface here. Cancel. These are no longer locked in space where they need to be. So I do need to constrain these first. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the original constraint. We're going to make the surface of that. That is the laptop holder to the top of that. Going, yep, that's fine. Because now I'm going to grab this flat surface here. Cancel. Mount that surface to here. But that's going to be offset by some amount. Where did you go? So we have to use, I'm going to undo this, and we're going to see in the next video, I'm going to get this lined up, and then I'll explain what I did, so you don't have to see me struggle with it.